Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Ninjaxtx, and welcome to the 11th video in my sixth round of philosophy videos. Last week, we lost another great one in Denny Ainsworth. Now, for those of you that don't know who Denny Ainsworth is, if you watch my videos for any length of time, you know my about my about my I guess you could say my how would you phrase it? My affiliation with the Ludlow Port Show in Atlanta, Georgia, with the late great radio legend Ludlow Port. He was the producer of that show for several years, and after Ludlow retired, he became the host of the show, and George Crowley took over permanent producing duties. Um, both both Denny um, and George are friends of mine. And when I woke up to the news of Denny's passing, it was like I had to. It took this long for me to do this video, and it's taken about a week for me to post this video because I couldn't put into words what Denny had done for me and countless other listeners of that show that were called wackos. Um, Denny, I listened to, let me go back. I listened to the Ludlow Port Show since I was 5 years old. And I was going through surgeries because of my cerebral palsy. And the nurse, and I've talked about the story before, the nurse would listen to the Ludlow Port Show. Well, one morning I was not cooperating. I'm not gonna lie, I was being a and she put on a Ludlow Port Show while she was drawing my blood and doing my vital signs and whatnot. I calmed down enough to where she could do that, and the show basically allowed me to do that, and it allowed me to calm down. It allowed me to put my focus on somewhere else other than what was going on with me at the time. Um, and through the years, it's pulled me through a lot of other dark places. And then, as when Ludlow retired and passed the baton to Denny, so to speak, I started calling in, and they called in. Well, actually, I called in a couple times when I was younger. Not sure whether he remembered me, but I know that Denny did because he brought it up. When I called in, he brought it up as I was in holding one time, and and he did remember me. He did remember the alias that I went by. I'm not gonna say what alias I went by then, but as I started calling in the show, I started um, becoming known as Eric from Cartersville, which is where I'm originally from. Um, and then they gave me the nickname Weasel 2.0. If you know the show, you know who the Weasel is. But I will say they adopted you as family if you call into that show. And and Denny was a lot like, to me, he was a lot like the uncle that I never had. And even off the show, he would send me emails. He would check up on me and say, "Hey man, how you doing?" And if I wasn't feeling too good, or if I wasn't uh, uh, in a good place, he said, "Hey man, call in the show. We will get you out of this. We will hope." Basically, that the Wacko family held me together for years, and it's still there because I still talk to George Crumley. But and I'm gonna say this, with Denny's passing, it's like another. And I said this last week when one of my instructors passed away. But with Denny's passing, it's like another family member is gone. And I haven't. Ludlow passed away. We have several other Wacko family members that have passed away. And with Dennis passing away, it's just, I don't know. To me, and George has said this too, and I I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, because I hope, and because I know George is probably gonna watch this video. Everybody that knew Denny is in. We know that he's not in any more pain, but we're still in a state of shock over losing him, because he was he was a pillar that held the wackos up. And now that he's not here, we just we got to keep going. We got to do what's positive in his memory. And instead of dwelling on how he suffered and whatnot, we got to remember the good times. We got to make sure his wife and son remember that he is know that he is loved. Um, and we just got to be there for each other. Um, it goes back to something I said last week. You got to make sure those that you love get their flowers while they're here, because you don't know when God is going to call them home. And I will say it like this: I know that Denny and Ludlow are up in heaven now, and I know they're looking down on us and saying, why are we, you know, they're looking down on us and saying, guys, remember the good times. Guys, remember what we started the show for. Remember what Ludlow started the show for. Remember what Denny carried on the show for. And just look when the world gets dark, because it's pretty dark right now. When the world gets dark, we have each other to hold on to. And we have to make sure that the generations coming up after us have something to hold on to that's positive, that's humorous, that makes them laugh and doesn't look at the bleak side of everything all the time. But you gotta make sure those that made you see the lighter side of life, you gotta make sure they get their flowers while they're here. You gotta make sure they know they're loved while they're here. The world without Denny Ainsworth is a much, much darker place now. But let's remember, when you say your prayers tonight or you pray to your higher power, let's remember to keep Miss Patricia, and his son Nick in your prayers. I hope that made sense to everyone. I hope that touched someone's heart. I hope that it, you know, I hope that this video served as I don't want to say proper memorial for Denny, but I hope that anybody that sees this video is touched by something that Denny has done, something that Denny has said, and I hope this video brought back a positive memory. Anyway, just let's remember to keep Miss Patricia and Nick in your prayers and whatnot. Anyway, for those of you that watch my Chair Burn Screamer videos, I'll be back with that tomorrow at 11:45 a.m. Um, just rest in peace, Denny Ainsworth. You will never, you will never be forgotten. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Bye bye for now.